Welcome to Surviving the Pen. With your host, Arthur, M. Swain.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening. How y'all doing? Well, we want to welcome y'all to another show. I'm happy about this show right here because we got our newest brother to the team, Mr. Corey Sherrill, and then we got a very special guest, man, and the brother Aaron Showtime Taylor. So we're gonna introduce ourselves. I'm M. Swain, the author. Got my boy Latif LC Harmon in the group. We got Corey Sherrill. Pablo's out of town on vacation, so let us introduce y'all to Mr. Sherrill, who is a comedian, by the way, and he's the baby of the bunch. You stole my fame. I was the baby of the bunch. You stole something from me. I feel a certain type of way. We gonna let that be all right. But so tell us a little bit about yourself, bro.
Well, I first have to say to that is it was in God's will, so He knew this was going to happen. So he knew I was coming, man. I'm a professional comedian. Comedy has been my passion, man. Just as a kid growing up, Richard Pryor. Who didn't love Richard Pryor? Like his movies. Just the fact that it was a black man of color, that didn't just gravitate people through depth, because like depth, we've had a lot of deep examples. Malcolm X's, there's so many different examples like that, but this is a man that made people laugh. So Richard Pryor is definitely one of my inspirations or whatnot. And I just learned, I kind of engulfed what an observational comedian was with using my pain as laughter. So the things that kids used to make fun, oh, your shirt dingy, I could just make a joke out of it and roast myself. So and then later on, I'm sure if we get into talk about me, and then when I went to prison, I'm doing a 7-year sentence. I took my talent in there, man. I did talent shows and things like that. And if you can make a brother that's trying to figure out, where his life is really going to be and not giving up, and just how it is in there, man. If you can make guys like that laugh and love the programs I was doing with talent and stuff, I feel like out here in society, it was just a layup. It's been a layup, and that's why I've been able to even come around other success stories like myself and your story and the brothers that's on here today. So that's like a gist of who I am. You know what I'm saying? And then the ladies love me, man. You see these white teeth? Look at these teeth. I didn't know there was this. These are some white teeth, man. So like, I mean, I enhanced the kit a little bit. I have to enhance the kit, man. So I don't know, man. Comedy has just been my passion, and I've been fortunate just to make the right connections. I tell people all the time, connection is everything. And so that's a bit of me. I am a connector. I am my word, comification that I created. Comification is if comedy and gentrification had a baby, that's me. I'm dividing part between making laughter be the divinity between, races and barriers, man, for us to like find some laughter in life because there's so much harshness and seriousness. So that's a little bit about Corey Sherrill. Thanks for asking me, bro. I'm loving to be here on the squad. You know what I'm saying?
We happy to have you, bro. And
sure.
We got your back, bro. We brothers, we band together as one.
Yeah.
We look out for each other. So welcome to the team, man. You couldn't have chose a better manager and Miss Taylor. So, let's see how the brothers doing. What's up, Latif? Tell the people how you doing, what's going on in your life.
Oh man, right now, man, I'm having, a few difficulties, but nothing that is not going to be worked out, man. Man playing God's the best of all planners. So I'm gonna leave it with that. But it's always refreshing and good when I see my fam, on this platform. And Corey, yes, you don't know that you took a very special position as the little brother of the crew.
Yes.
So I don't know if Mike told you, but there's a fee coming with being the little brother of the crew. So I'm gonna let him pull you to the side since both of y'all down there in the same geographical area. So I'm gonna
All
let
right.
Mike go ahead on and let you know the price that you must pay by holding the position of the little brother. You know what I mean? And yeah, and then when you come on, bro, you got this one line, man. I'll be wanting to applaud you and clap you and push you on, but when you say, man, I'm the sexiest man in comedy. Now, come on now, I can't be applauding you being the sexiest man. Funniest man, the funniest man in comedy. Yeah, you got that. But no, man. But I'm welcoming you to the team, man. I'm
Thank
happy
you,
and I'm
bro.
excited, man. That once I was told that you was going to actually, come on and be a part of the team, man. You couldn't have chose a better manager. Trust me, man. I'm not saying it just to be saying it, man. But the sister's been fired from the moment I met her into this very moment right now in terms of being on top of her game, man. Trust me. Um, but with that, me personally, man, I'm struggling with a few things, but like I said, nothing that is not going to be overcome, man. I can't wait to get a chance to get down there so we can kick it and bond, and do all the things that we need to do, other than the Zoom, to make this right here propel on into greater things.
Okay, bro. We all praying for you. And like you say, man plans, but God's the best planner. So
That's
God
it.
knows best, and we send prayers up for you. Pablo Agrio, you looking too serious, yo. What's going on, oh? We can't even. What's up,
Hey,
Pablo? You
what's
looking
up,
too
Mike? What's
serious,
up,
man.
Latif? Hello,
You
Uh,
Corey.
looking
Nice
too
to meet you, man.
serious.
I don't know if you guys can hear me well, but just
We hear you. We need to see a
hey, listen.
smile, bro.
Let me just. Can you guys hear me?
yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you guys can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. You must can't hear us.
Can you guys hear me? You can't hear me?
yes, yes, yes,
You can hear me?
yes.
Well, I don't know if you can hear me or not, but the internet, yeah, the internet can. Well, listen, the internet connection is all not that good, but I'm here in Cebu, Philippines. And yeah, I can hear you, but you can't hear me, I guess. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, but we ain't finna do a whole show.
No.
Can you hear us?
Okay,
Can we
well,
hear you though?
I'm hearing you, but you can't hear me. Yeah, I can hear you. So
Okay.
I'm just
We
gonna say hi and then let it go at that.
okay.
You know,
So
cause
so for those of you that's tuning in, we got a special brother with us tonight. Aaron Showtime Taylor. I'm gonna
Yes.
wait till we bring him on stage and tell you how I learned about the brother, and then we're gonna do our thing. So at this time, we like to introduce our special guest, Mr. Aaron Showtime Taylor.
30,
yeah,
Stephen
I sent
Curry,
you guys a message. I
aka
don't know
the
if you can hear me.
babyface assassin.
Aaron Taylor had been dreaming about this moment for years. And he certainly had plenty of time to dream because Taylor was a prisoner at San Quentin, 26 years for armed robbery. The path from prison to Chase Center started with a microphone behind bars.
Bob Myers with the ball. Bob Myers feeds that ball over to the Force. The Force feed it back to the. Oh, he traveled and they didn't call it. The Phenoms back there. Bob Myers for three. Oh, pass.
We first met the man nicknamed Showtime Taylor in 2017. A group of Warriors staff members came in to play the convicts, and Showtime, well, he put on his own show.
I'm the rebirth of Chick Hearn. If you wondered what Chick Hearn looked like if he came back to life as a 55-year-old black man, you're looking at it, you know.
Showtime's act got the Warriors
20 miles northwest from the Chase Center, where the Warriors play. And yet the distance traveled by the voice of San Quentin basketball, Aaron Showtime Taylor, is beyond measure.
I'm going into Chase Center tonight, man. It's ready to go down. It's finna get crackalating. That's how I feel tonight. You know, this is the moment I've been waiting for at least 27 years.
Our guest public address announcer for tonight's game, please join me in welcoming Mr. Aaron Showtime Taylor.
Mr. Taylor, Showtime Taylor.
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, ikhwan.
Alaikum assalam. Thank you for coming on, brother. We are elated to have you as a guest.
I feel the same way, believe me, especially after that intro. I'm like, wow.
Yeah. It's always a pleasure of mine personally to give brothers like you, even myself and the other brothers on the stage, our flowers, bro. While we here, you know, we hear it a lot, the cliche of give me my flowers while I'm here. But to people like us, we are a rare breed of people. We truly are, right? Not that we was thugging and drugging and bugging and whatever on the streets, but what we've overcame and the path, that the journey that we're on today to become better people, to become productive people in society and bring our light to the world. So with that being said, I like to say this on this show. Let's kick it like we're in the yard, baby. You know?
I got you. Hey, let's kick it like we on the yard then. What's the subject?
Okay. We got some guys on the stage I want to introduce you to first. Okay. We got my brother Corey Sherrill.
What up, my brother?
Yes,
Corey's
sir.
a comedian. You know, he did some time in the joint.
Yeah, I heard his intro.
Of course, you know Mr. Harmon, Latif, your brother.
Yes,
your
sir.
Muslim
Assalamu alaikum, Aki. How you doing?
Wa alaikum assalam rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
Oh, you just want to come with all the spicy Arabic on yours, huh? Wa alaikum assalam rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ikhwan Muhammad Ali.
Man, I had to give it to you, man. I got to give it to you because you know exactly what that is.
Alhamdulillah.
All praise be to the Most High. For those that don't know what I said, all praise be to the Most High, the church, and stand up all the world.
Latif always been serious. He laid back, he cool, but he was like this when I met him, and I've been busting jokes at him the whole time, and he acted the exact same way he acting now.
And then we got our Spanish brother, Mr. Pablo Agrello. I'm not sure if he can hear you, but
yeah. I can hear.
It really don't matter. I saw his intro. I saw the haberdashery. The haberdashery was on point. Liddy, he was straight Liddy up in that intro. I'm like, check my boy out. He showed up and showed out in his intro.
Yeah.
So let's start right here for me. Right?
Yes, sir.
I was landing my bunk in Eddyville, the second oldest penitentiary in the state of Kentucky, Eddyville Correctional.
In the state of Kentucky?
Yes, sir. My last bid, I've done 4 prison bids since 16. I've done 27, close to 28 years since 16 years old.
What was you trying to do? Life on installment plans, brother? What's going on?
I was caught up on that human hamster wheel of self-destruction, brother.
I got you. Don't mind my jokes because I got to crack them every now and then. That's why y'all brought me on. You just didn't bring me on for a serious conversation because you know me as Uncle Daddy. How am I supposed to point? You know me as Uncle Daddy Grandpa. Which way am I pointing? Let me go.
I love it. I love that you here.
Yeah, so I remember, bro. I was laying in my bunk with my remote in my hand, flipping my Clearview television, and I ran across something that I thought was amazing. And it was the show that had you on it. I think it was on Sports Center, ESPN. It was an ESPN show. and it was saying about how I can't play basketball no more. I blew out both of my knees, but it was about, you know, San Quentin and the Golden State Warriors going inside the prison and playing against prisoners, and the brother that got out and went and tried to, you know, try it out. Golden State let him try out for him, and the brother Aaron Showtime Taylor, the guy that was behind the mic emceeing the games, and I'm like, everywhere I've been to prison don't got nothing like that, bro. I've been to prison, Florida, New York, Maryland, Kentucky. Of course, they got basketball, but nothing like that. And I thought that was one of the most coolest things I ever seen, brother.
Right.
And so tell us about, you know, first of all, how does it feel to be home doing what you're doing?
Well, that's definitely off the charts, right? Because I went to the board July the 15th, 2020, and I got released October the 16th, 2020. So I came back to Los Angeles right in the middle of the COVID, right? So I had to go lock down for 2 weeks in a motel room. Now, you said you did time in a couple of states, and I know Latif did time, and the brother said he did time. I don't know about Pablo, but you know, after 26 years, you know, I was primed and ready. You know, Islam for about the weekend was about to go out the window, right? And you know how Allah, you said man plans, but Allah is huwa khairu makiin, right? So I had a plan with $2,500 in the first 72 hours with my money, but when the COs dropped me off at the motel room, they said, "You see that door over there?" I said, "Yeah." They said, "That's what manager's door." I said, "Okay." They said, "If that manager sees you bring anybody in that room, Project LA is going to cancel your funding, and then we're going to have to come pick you up and take you back to San Quentin." The look says it all, right? So by the grace and mercy of Allah, the whole time I was at San Quentin, every time they brought somebody in, I got an email address, right? That because I was working in the sports department for San Quentin News. So I automatically had access to the athletes and stuff when they came in. Plus, I'm doing the play-by-play, and I'm also a reporter. So it's easy to get the emails. And so I had 7 pages of emails when I came home. So when they told me I couldn't have any company, I just poured all my energy into writing out those emails, writing people, letting them know I was home. I started getting emails back. I started getting telephone numbers. So that first 2 weeks when I came home, was crucial in that room to make the contacts that I made, because while I was reaching out, making those contacts, that's how I hit Nick Anson from the Venice Basketball League. Now, they had teams would come to San Quentin from outside every week, and we had a pretty good rotation, but one consistent team was called, they was Prison Sports Ministries, and it's ran by Bill Epling, and they came consistently, and they are associated to the Golden State Warriors coaching staff and the organization, right? So to answer your question directly, it was an easy transition to do because it's something I had been doing for 26 years inside. So it was easy to block everything else out going on around me and focus on something that I know I can control, what's coming out of my mouth and the game that I'm watching. So that part of the transition has been easy doing the play-by-play out here. The hard part is the brother got to get out and hustle and find these jobs every weekend. I got to get on the grind like I'm slinging drugs back in the day, except I flipped it into something positive. Now I'm using the microphone and I'm going out hustling. When the VBL ain't in, the ABA ain't in, I'm ready to go to Las Vegas to sign up with the Las Vegas Royals. So now it's about hustling and grinding, doing this play-by-play. So I've got a pattern that I'm in now where I'm like, you know, in a groove, like, okay, basketball season's coming in, now I can work. So to answer your question, it's great. It's great. It is great. I wouldn't want to be doing anything else right now. My money isn't always consistent, but I'm able to pay my bills. You see what I'm saying? My money isn't always consistent, but for the past 2 years, I've been building off of the success that I had inside, right? And making those type of moves to get myself my own LLC, to get my own business account, to set myself up for the future. Because the end goal for me is to call an NBA final series within 5 to 7 years. I'm 2 years in. I got 5 more years on that plan to hopefully do it. But then again, like and we said 2 or 3 times, we plan and a lot of plans, and who are Kato Makirin.
Well, you kind of set the stage, set the tone for, you know, our title tonight. You know, prison life, the pros and cons of it, right? So you just spoke of one of the pros of doing time. You was able to get a Rolodex full of emails, contacts, and in business, contacts is that's your bread and butter. I sold cars before. That's your bread and butter. So I know that. Excuse.
This one of the moments when the family life kick in.
Yeah.
So
I love these.
excuse me for that.
You
You know, I
good?
got little babies, man.
You good? You good?
So, you know, we wanna as we pass the mic around, we want to keep that in mind. The subject of the room or the show tonight is the pros and cons of the prison's life. So I'm gonna let some of the other brothers get some time with you, and then I'll round it back to me. Corey, you can have at it, brother.
I feel like, you know, so when I found out you was coming on here, man, I was really excited because I'm like a legend in Michigan in basketball. Like, I was really good, man. I put up 61 points in the game, man. And a lot of it is with what you do now. What kept you going at it, bro? In there, I want to know what kept you in there going at it so vigilantly and so professional and with that passion. Like, what allowed you to stay focused on what you were doing?
Just it didn't start out that way. You know, just like anything else, when you get to the pen, you know, you're trying to find your niche. You know, when I first came from the LA County Jail to the prison system, the state system, the first time I did state time was in the 80s, right? And so being on a level 1 Chino at that time, and we was young, gang banging, you know, wasn't nobody really tripping on politics. But now,
hey man, M. Swan looks so funny talking, bro.
huh?
I'm sorry, man. I was laughing at the brother because you could tell he's telling somebody something.
Yeah. I peeped it out, but you block it out. You're a professional. You know, being on stage, you just block that stuff out. So, but to get back to the point, right? You know, I'm shot in the face when I come to jail. I got a bullet hanging out my face. I got this finger right here. The flesh is hanging off from the shootout that I'm in. So when I finally come to my senses and I'm in the county jail and we go to the roof, on the street, I played around with play-by-play, but now there's nothing else to do but play-by-play. So, you know, I'm doing it in the county jail, and it's cute. You know what I'm saying? It's fun. You know what I'm saying? We on the yard. Hey, the dude can do play-by-play, right? But by the time I made it to the state pen, when I got to Lancaster, right, at CSPLAC, and I was on that level 4, then it became crucial to me keeping my sanity, right? Because I had become Muslim under Shahadatain in 1992 in July over at Masjid Badallah on Jefferson and 3rd Ave here in Los Angeles, right? And so that was 2 years before I went to prison. So those 2 years before I went to prison, I'm playing with something that I wasn't supposed to play with, but I didn't know that at the time, right? And so playing with Islam led me to go to prison, right? Because I wasn't trying to save myself. I was putting myself in a position each time the danger went up. You know what I'm saying? Each robbery, it got more exciting as I'm going out doing this stuff, right? So now when I get to prison, that same mentality's still with me. So I was playing games the first 7 to 8 years. That's why I got beat up at Lancaster by the Muslims in the chapel, because I was playing games, wanting to be a Muslim and steal from my neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? And so I was literally going insane at the time until I got disciplined, you know, just a straight old fashioned ass kicking. Like your mama and your grandmama and your granddaddy used to give you. I got my ass kicked up in that room and it woke me up, you know? And so I started really getting serious about Islam. But that whole time, even during all this time, I'm still going to the court every day to do play-by-play, because that part of me, that performer part, because I used to rap back in the day too, right? And that performer part of me, the guy that's funny, the guy that didn't want to be boxed in a category in prison, you know, if you know what I'm talking about, every time you see a Muslim in prison, almost every time there's a stereotypical look.
Yeah.
They're telling you assalamu alaikum, but they faces like this and they fists be balled up. Assalamu alaikum, brother. You know, and it's like, I didn't want to fall into that, you know, so I did the play-by-play so I can maintain some type of personal identity within Islam while I was in prison. And that was like the safest way to do it. Plus, it kept me connected to everybody on the yard. Everybody loved to play by. The thugs love to play by play. The gamblers love to play by play. The police love. Everybody loved to play by play So it kind of made me a central point, right? And it gave me, like I said, a unique identity in a place where everybody's trying to find their niche, but could nobody do what I was doing. And so that made me unique in that sense. And that's how I pretty much stayed focused until I got my Islamic compass set. And then I started rolling that way for a while.
I get that, man. Like, you know, I did 7 years, 7 years, 9 months. That was the amount of time I did. So for me, you know, my first day there, I ran into a brother named Brother Muhammad. And that was after I got in the fight because somebody tried me. You know what I'm saying? And I feel as though when I was running into brothers like yourself, that was brothers that like had respect because they had a talent, I kind of wanted to engulf that importance on the yard, you know, because and so I began to I became friends with all of the religious heads, like whether
Right.
it was Imam, whether if I was cool with the Grand Sheik. I stayed with guys within Islam because in there, you know, at church anybody can go there. You know what I'm saying? The swine, you got all kind of swine in there, all kinds of people that shouldn't be in there. You know what I'm saying? Different walks of life. And so for me, I wanted to be around the guys that had the mean face, but their words was of peace. You know what I'm saying? And so my second question to ask you, to wonder if you went through what I went through being a creative, um, because the income, like I'm sure you're more talented than a lot of hosts, a lot of announcers out here. Like you're more talented. But
According to Mark Jackson, I am.
no, according to myself, like yo, like just being straight up real. But the relationships you have to create, because you started this off talking about the emails, so you were willing to build relationships. How has it been for you, man? Has it been like, as far as the business side of things, have people really welcomed you with open arms and fascination, or are you still kind of going through the new guy on the block type of feeling?
So that's really a perception question, right? And I want to be fair to it, right?
Okay, but that's
So
real. That's why I'm asking you. I
yeah,
wanted to know like what you
there's
feeling.
definitely the element still of the shiny new toy. You know, there's an element of, well, let's see how long this nigga gonna go before he crash. You know, there's
Mm-hmm.
that element. There's the that's not the Harun I know in prison. I don't know that brother. You know, there's that element. There's there's family who heard about me for years but didn't actually meet me. So now I got to deal with that element because they're addressing someone who doesn't exist. They learned about the guy that existed up until 1994. You see what I'm saying? And the memories that the people had of me, fairly or unfairly, were shared with people younger that never met me. And so one thing that I'm running into trouble with is the younger generation who never met me and lived by memories that was other people's memories that was in them. When I didn't fit the mold of those memories, that became a problem.
Uh-huh.
That became a real problem. And it took me a couple of about maybe 17 months to finally figure out actually what it was. And like I said, it's exactly that. Everybody's family. We all did time. Anybody that did time, when you're gone, the people that miss you talk about you in their memories. And if there's people who never met you, or people in your family, little kids who, you know, never met you, but they keep hearing the name, uncle this, your daddy this, you know what I'm saying, your grandfather that. When they're putting those memories in their heads, they're doing it from a position of, here, this is our loved one, and this is what we know of him, right? But all the time, sometimes, you know, people might share bad memories about you too. So when you come home after doing 7 years, people were still, who never met you, was expecting to meet the guy that they knew about 7 years ago. And here you come out a more mature person. That's one issue that I think a lot of us are having, and that's why I brought it up.
I want to say this, and I'll drop it to someone else. I think that is the thin line. That's the. I feel like that's the thin line between a brother being rehabilitated and a brother not being rehabilitated. And the reason why I say that is because we need people to identify who we are today.
Mm-hmm.
It's so crazy, man, that once I became more enlightened with who I was related to, or even more enlightened with, you know, my capabilities, people just like, man, you just need to go get a 9 to 5 and work at the factory. So like, you're not allowed to go to prison and come home and have a dream. Like you can't do that. And then it doesn't matter if people could be a real asset to what you have going on. They
Right.
don't see it. And it's almost like, I went through, that was the hardest pill to swallow, what you're saying. Being accepted for the man that you are today. Like, like Malcolm X was not like a good guy going in. Look who he became. You know what I mean? And then the value of a man is like I came home a grown man. I went away 17. So coming home a grown man, like nobody didn't care that I wasn't equipped. I'm a man now, right? But it's like the value of a man is money. And I used to always say, like, man, Malcolm X didn't have money. Martin Luther King didn't have money. These people didn't have money. They didn't have riches. I could keep going and going and going. I can't really speak about Marcus Garvey because I don't know if he was like a dude that had wealth. But a lot of these guys were rich in character. They were rich in the words they used. They was rich in their language. And so for me, witnessing a guy like you who story has been before the world, I just wanted to encourage you, man, to keep pushing it, bro. Because we're a rarity because a lot of the brothers, like I talk to a lot of brothers that do like this major time like y'all. And the biggest part that they don't understand is that every brother that has been through what we went through, he needs to go to therapy.
Definitely.
Most
I'm
definitely.
serious.
Definitely.
And I'm
Most
saying that
definitely.
for real, not your mama, not the pastor,
No.
not talking to me and M. Swain.
I don't need no therapy, bro.
No, and what I mean by that, the reason why I say this is why I say this, right?
I don't agree with that. I don't think everybody, and I'm gonna say this. I don't think everybody that went to prison need to come home and get therapy. Want me to tell you why? I'm gonna tell you why. Because now you're subjecting yourself to the same system, right? So there are programs in prison that a lot of people use those programs for what they're built for, right? But when you say therapy, what am I looking for in therapy? Somebody to tell me how I'm supposed to act, somebody to tell me how to deal with my emotions and my feelings. What am I looking for? So am I that person that I can't teach myself? Am I that person that I can't discipline myself? Am I that person that I can't say what's right from wrong? Like I'm not gonna put myself in that box. But the thing about it is we're talking about the pros and cons of prison. So the brother said something that I wanted to speak and cut everybody off because it's a real thing. When you said about the grandkids, the aunties, the uncles, the brothers, the sisters, the kids, all telling those that may have never met you about who you are and we love this person, right? And then when we come home, so many people expect us to be that person, right? Now check this out. This is something that I say to a lot of people in prison. A lot of people in prison don't realize, and I had to go to prison 3 times to realize this, 4 times to get it right. Not from no system, not from the therapy, not from none of that, because they got all that in prison too. They got therapy in prison. So my thing was this. I had to learn this, bro. And it's important because it might be small to some, but it's huge to rehabilitation. The same way he said they're going to expect that person. We come out, a piece of our minds are still back when we was arrested. The first time, a piece of our minds, whether we want to admit it or not, because we get locked up, we read all these books, we become bigger men, more intelligent people, and we think that this is not a thing. This is a thing. This is what connects you to recidivism, because you never forget that day, that moment. I don't care how many years you do, 37, 34 years, 20-some years, 26 years, 27, 28 years, 7 years. You never forget the moment you was arrested.
I am Swan.
And I think that's so important.
Swain.
But I don't want to go have a show where we going back and forth between two people. We got an hour show, so we want to move it around a little bit.
Can I ask you one question?
Yeah.
All right. What I want to say is, because I think when a person uses the word therapy, therapies always get caught up in the 2 levels that you brought into, right? I think there's several layers to therapy. Whether if you got a life coach, I'm telling you right now, right? Being a black man that came from Detroit, Michigan, went in homeless, came home from prison homeless, it helped me a lot meeting strategists, man, that could show me with what I have. And that's all I want to say. So it's different layers to it. It's not always emotional therapy. It's not always, but I think that when you have someone whose job is to really implement a plan, it strategized a brother that didn't have that. Because I came home different than you. You was already a man that understood how to get an LLC. I was 16 turning 17.
But that's
Right?
why I say for everybody.
Yeah. I just want to
That's
make
why
sure
I
I
said
shared
for everybody.
that depth. That's all. You're right,
So
but I want to say it's levels to therapy. You got all different kinds because people go in and come out at a different, different ages, different capability. I ain't never saw $2,000 when I went in my life, so I ain't know the value of money. I ain't never had a good relationship with money until it took a therapist to show me how to have a good relationship with money. So I'm speaking from that layer of a young man like me. If I knew a brother that was 18, he come home 25, go sit down and talk to somebody, bro. You got the rest of your life ahead of you because it's people, yeah, they got programs inside of their cage your rage and all that stuff, man. But it's hard to cage your rage, and then the next day you got to do some time up in there, man. It's people, it's systems out here that will. That's all I want to say. But I agree that to beat therapy down somebody's head, you got to have it in yourself. But I just wanted to say that part because that's what happened for me. That's true. I'm being honest, man. Landmark Forum saved my life. I would not be here with y'all. I'm telling you that, bro.
so
That's all I want to say. But I agree with you, bro. For real.
so my brother died in 2006, May, right? On Mother's Day, as a matter of fact. And when that happened, up until that point, Islam was what I used to help reestablish my morals and my ethics and everything, right? All the things that I ran away from as a human being when I was running around, as an animal, Islam helped me reestablish, right? But now I'm on a level 3 yardage sentinel at that time, and the age was a drastic shift from the level 4. Level 4 is a little older, average age is 40 at that time. Average age was like, late 30s to early 40s here in California on the level 4s at that time. And so when I moved to the level 3 in 2006, that's when the age range dipped, and we went from older cats to young dudes running around with their chest stuck up, and everybody's, remembering their gang ties on the street, and they bringing that to the prison yard. This is the reason I created the leagues. But I bring it up to say that my brother's death, because I wanted to be a better parent, and I didn't want to beat my religious beliefs across my nieces and nephews' head. I went into a lifer's parenting class so I can get some tips on how to reach them. Going to lifer's parenting class led me to AANA, and I got the 12 principles, and I learned them and went through them. That led me to Alternatives to Violence. That led me to Cage Your Rage. When I got to San Quentin, I went into GRIP, and I went into Criminals and Gangsters Anonymous. And one thing that I can tell you that runs through every one of them, they teach you about what trauma is. The reason that we act the way we act, and the reason that we make a lot of the decisions that we make in our adult life, is because something happened to us traumatic in our childhood, right? With the understanding that the definition of trauma is something that you didn't want to happen to you and something you had no control over happening to you.
That's right.
Okay, everybody's nodding, so everybody understands the same definition. So what happens in each one of these groups, each in a separate way, but specifically in GRIP and Cage Your Rage, they literally walk you backward down the path of your life and show you where each traumatic event took place at, right? Until you get back to your childhood. Then we start looking at the way we were raised as far as our discipline and stuff like that, and how did that affect us? Were you the type of child where in the morning, did your parents wake you up and, come to the bed and rub your back and say, hey, get up, get ready for school? Or did your mama kick the door in, boom, y'all get up, it's time to go to school. What you still doing in bed? What's wrong? Those are traumas that take place in childhood. Now, what happens is we get a little older, we go out in the street, there's another set of traumas that take place, right? That's when your first interaction with the police, your first interaction with adults outside of your house or off your block, and people are pushing up on you. That's another set of traumas that come at you from the societal aspect, because now you're understanding that you're a young black man, or you're a young man of color, or even a young woman of color, and now you're seeing what society is at you. These are all traumas. So when we come into our adulthood and we can control what's coming at us, every decision we make is to protect that person we couldn't protect back then. And that's usually what leads us to jail. What happened in my case specifically, and I'm gonna wrap it up real quick because I see our time is running out, and I know you want to share this, but let me wrap this up real quick. In my case personally, going to self-help groups with the intent to find out what it was that I was missing helped me out, because I sat in the room with other men who had the humility and the courage to open up. So I could see what I was dealing with was the same thing he was dealing with. And he was dealing with the same thing I was dealing with. And then he had the same. And so now we start to understand, well, how did it happen with you? And when you open up and you're honest with yourself and you having conversations with other men who are open and honest and understand that we need to be full humans, that's when you start to heal those traumas. I get the brother's point specifically about he can do it himself, but I can also guarantee you this. If he wasn't in a group, he also read while he was in there, and he read on psychology. He read on spirituality. He read on the same things we read on in the group. He just went and did it himself. Also, though, it took you 4 trips to the pen to get it done. So that means your trial and error might have been cut short had you the first time said, but you had to make your mind up to do it. Everything we're talking about is each one of us doing it our way, but we had to come to ourselves and say, I need to do this.
I feel you, and I want to pass it to Latif, but let me say this. The reason why I say that is because of this. I started getting locked up when I was like 9 years old, right? In and out of juvenile detention centers from 9 to about 10 and a half, so much that the state took me from my mom and my grandmother who was raising me to be a religious child, to be obedient child, to be all of the good things in life that a person's supposed to be, right? But traumas, not having my father, right? My mother reacting to me in the way that she did, traumas. So I've been going to jail since literally 9 years old, right? Going program after program after program after program. Bro, I'm gonna be real with you, bro. None of that stuff helped me. None of that. I'm saying me. That's why I corrected him. I say that's not for everybody. Me, right? Because to me, for a long time, jail was a playground. I wasn't the one that was in a pickle jar full of penises. That wasn't me. I'm a real guy. Like, I'm a stand-up guy. But jail to me was no difference than the streets, minus a car. You know what I'm saying? So I'm one of those who had to learn myself. That's why I say that. And it's a lot of me's, just like it's a lot of, brothers that feel like how Corey feel and how you feel. So I don't want people to think that that's what we need. We need to go and sit down and talk to somebody. And you're right the way you said it, because my mentor, Miss Taylor, my manager, like, I go to her with a lot of problems. You see what I'm saying? So I get what you're saying. But when you say go and sit down therapy, now I'm like, because I've been through that all my life. So let's get a brother Latif, a shot at you, champ. And I know y'all know each other, so
Okay, first, and in keeping it, on point, let me go back to the point where you said family members that knew you of your past. Then when you went to prison, and you didn't use these exact terms, but I'm gonna paraphrase from when you grew from boy to man, and those that knew you in your boy stage, that's the memory that's all others could give them of you, because they didn't witness the transformation from boy to man. We got that, the hard way, in the belly of the beast, going to the hole, going through all these changes that we had to make. So when people meet us later on, we don't fit the profile, because those that was telling them about us didn't witness the growth. They only knew us when we was in our boy state of being. But when the Most High elevated us and showed us our true mission in life, and we took it and kept it moving, They didn't witness that. A few did, but a whole lot missed that. So when we return home, when those that's been uh, told about us and we don't fit that, they be like, why we looking for crypto? You know, we looking for snake or spider. you, we ain't looking for this. Who is this? You know, so I get that, and I understand that. And coming into those environments, man, you know, um, yes, a lot of that happened in that prison life to where, you know, right during the time when you left Solar Day, I know you was happy to get away from there to go where you needed to go. See, I was one of those that I was stuck because I was in that age group to where they kept us to babysit when all the drama take off and it's pandemonium. I'm talking about it's total chaos, right? And so they trying to find not. I mean, there was many leaders. It wasn't just no one. You know that everybody had a little power play whom they could corral together to try to bring some some sense into the madness. You know that's what the brother was explaining about those that knew him before, and then when he do meet him, he's nothing like they told him that he was. But that's why. That's why. Now I want to ask this to you because I know we're short of time. I'm going to ask you this, bro. There's a part of you like when you was in Centinela and you was already doing the Showtime. Then when you and I met, well, you know, at that time, that environment wasn't conducive to a whole lot of things that was once you got to San Quentin. I know that's when you blew up. Everybody was trying to get to San Quentin, even though it was prison, but that was the best place to be if a person was really trying to program, if he was really trying to get out to go home. That's where all the proactive people were. If you was trying to get anything from the outside to help you grow from the inside, you can do it in other places, but you had so many resources there. You know what I mean? So that's why I missed it. And then I was really happy. I was elated when I saw the same intro that came on. When I saw you, I was like, "Oh man, when did brother get out?" You know, because a lot of times when we exit and we don't have no connections there, we don't know nothing until we see Facebook, and that's when we get reconnected again. But by that time, so many things don't happen, and just like with me trying to get you, I know you know me intimately, but trying to get you to understand, now this Abdul Latif, this is Latif. No, and I was trying to explain all that to you, but I'm saying that to say that how did it feel, brother? Once you paroled and you was allowed to exercise that dream,
There was nothing
that
stopping me. There
that
was nothing gonna
vision.
stop me, brother.
Yes, yes, yes.
Man, I
How
came
did
out
you?
on a mission, man.
Yes,
Listen, but
yes.
this is my mission. Point blank, right? 3-pronged, not missing. I'm gonna call it NBA Final Series, 5 to 7 years, period. I'm gonna create a company. It just happened to be named at the time Elevated Entertainment. So I can create some intergenerational wealth for my family because my family been living from hand to mouth as long as I remember. You know what I'm saying? Everybody scratching and hustling, you know what I'm saying? Finding what you can get in and what you can't get in. You know what I'm saying? You hit and miss, you know what I'm saying? My family been doing that my whole life. I grew up like that, right? And so the thing was to create a company so I can create some intergenerational wealth for my family. And third, right, of that prong is as soon as I get the first bag dropped on me, I'm gonna set up some funds for all of the kids in my family. You know what I'm saying? That's going before anybody before I get anything. Look, it's tough when you're out here and I have a goal and the people around me don't understand the goal. The
Right.
people around me have their goals and they have their vision. And I understand that I landed into a society that I hadn't been in 26 years, which
Mm-hmm.
reminded me of Surah 18, the cave, when those people went into the cave and the dog was out front, you know, and they went to
Absolutely.
sleep up in there. When they woke up, the
Mm-hmm.
dog was dead. They went out front, the donkey was dead. The money that they had looked funny. Some of that stuff was sand. And when they rode into the town, they get to talking and people looking at them like, who is these? They don't even understand what they're saying, you
Right.
know.
Right.
That's how we come out of prison after 25 years. People are looking at me and listening to me like, what is this dude talking about? What do you mean you open doors up for women? What do you mean you protect black women? What do you mean you finna do something for what? You finna make all the incarcerated people look good with what you finna do? So when the Warriors sent me that email and offered that to me and said, we can ready to bring you up here to do this, I understood when I accepted that I was getting ready to stand in the footsteps of individuals like Jackie Robinson, Jack Johnson, you know what I'm saying, Jesse Owens. I understood when I took that, when I accepted this, what was going to happen. And my goal, like it's always been, like I said, I'm going to make them respect anybody that comes out of prison like me. Whether you did the self-help groups the way I did, whether you became an autodidact and it was trial and error until you got it right like he did, or whether you went over there to Michigan and it did it the way he did in his 7 years, or if you did it the way Latif did, strictly, I'm assuming, strictly by Quran, and then using just the natural talents, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that you had in your life. These are 4 separate ways to show you how we can heal.
Right.
4
Love
separate
it.
individual ways. My way works for me. When I went in, I needed somebody to tell me what was wrong with me because I couldn't figure it out. I learned to read and write 9 languages, bruh. I learned to speak 4 of those languages. When I met Latif, I was up in there reciting the Quran with no Quran in front of me.
That's right.
When I met Latif, I wasn't walking around with a Quran in my hand. I don't need a Quran, brother. I'm a Hafiz. I am a protector of the Quran. Not have it memorized where I can recite it in Arabic, but I'm a protector of what's in that book and every other book that Allah revealed. So be you Christian, Muslim, Jew, Hindi, whatever it is, if I know your book is revealed by God, it's my duty to protect that. Absolutely. So when I came out here, I came on a mission to show everybody what it looks like when a person says in their head, I need to get help. And then that person seeks it out. No matter which way you find it, you get it. And then you unleash me into the public and let me show you what I'm about. My name is Aaron Showtime Taylor. I'm no longer anything you thought I ever was because God transformed me inside. I spent 26 years in a cocoon. Before jail, I was a slug that drug itself into jail and went into a cocoon for 26 years. The word recreation, if you take the R-E off the front and put a dash in it, it means recreation. While a lot of brothers are inside playing games and getting involved in recreation, a lot of us was also getting away from the recreation and we separated and we recreated ourselves. We went in and redesigned what was already there. We went in and rediscovered who we were. We went in and rediscovered that we're the lions that come back at the end of the movie, The Lion King. Because when we left, we were Simba. We put ourselves in a position where we became dead and Scar and the hyenas took over. But now these Lion Kings are coming back. That's what I'm out here for. To let people know. To let people know. I'm going to use my stage and my voice to let you know there is power in the admission that I need help and I need help. And however you get it, you have to open your mouth and say, I need it first. That brother said it to himself. He said it to other people and they didn't give it to him too. He said, damn it, I'm gonna look in the mirror. You need to help yourself. You know what? I think you do need some help. And then he got cracking. And this brother did it his way. He did it his way. And my way was the system. The system worked in my case. I may be one of maybe 1% of the whole system, but I'm the 1% that worked. And I don't mind saying it.
Okay, let me say one more thing before, because that's a whole lot of fire, bro.
Real quick, and I want to say this too, because I ain't gonna say nothing. Thank y'all for inviting me on.
You
tell them how we met too before we get off too.
Before I let you go, then you must know that there's something I want you to do and show us why Showtime is your name. But the brother need to say something. We got
just
6 minutes
thing.
left.
Just
short with it.
Just one more thing. I'm gonna make it real quick. In line with this right here, what I was going along with that question is that vision to call that game in comparison to when not only did you parole, but you discharge that feeling in comparison to calling a game.
In comparison to calling a game,
yes,
the discharge was more just like taking the leash off. Okay. I was the type, and I'm using this language specifically when I say this, so I don't, you know, if somebody's listening, please understand the analogy that I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah.
I was a pit bull that understood how I was.
That's in here. That's in here. My
Okay.
wife is cooking.
Well, listen, everybody got alarms around here, brother. I was about to dive down and
Mute your
prone out,
mic.
brother. You
Hey,
can't be
bro,
doing
I
that.
thought it
You
was
triggered
my
me right
alarm.
there.
Mute your mic.
My mic.
Mute. Now, if the
He got to
alarm
mute
is
his
gonna
mic.
keep
Yeah.
going on.
So the point I'm making is, I was a pit bull that understood that I had a leash, so I never pulled up against it. I just waited for it to come off. One thing I said when I came out of jail, I didn't run and chase the spotlight. It was there, and I just simply walked right into it. I didn't go chasing fame. When those guys came in for those games, I treated it like it was. They was in there to play basketball. I don't care if Draymond Green and Kevin Durant is sitting there. Draymond Green went to the domino table. He listened to the play-by-play just like everybody else had did at every other prison I've been to. He was playing dominoes, listening to the play-by-play, so he saw the game. He never missed a moment of it. And that's what I do. I'm not going to let you miss it. I am the evolution, the rebirth of Francis Chick Hearn. That was my idol. That man taught me and helped. And I'll say this, by the grace and mercy of Allah, Allah gave me a role model in him to pattern myself after, which helped me when I went to the board, because I was doing selfless work by doing that. And so that put me in these positions just by doing work, not for me, but creating something for everybody to enjoy, where everybody got a slice of it. I was just the voice and the organizer. Those dudes made those leads because they bought into the program. If we do this with him, this gonna get the violence down and we can make some money on the yard. Now, I'm gonna use this word strategically too. When niggas find out they can make some money when they wasn't making none, they gonna hurry up and start listening to you.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
That part.
Hey, so in closing, right?
Yes,
real
sir.
fast, I'm gonna ask you. A 17-year-old Corey Sherrill walks in the penitentiary. He's your bunkie, right? A pro and a con that you will give this young brother so he will make it home a better man than he came in after 7 years and 9 months.
I'm gonna make it personal because you said he's moving into my cell, right? And so off the top, because I've been a lifer, he's gonna get on the top bunk because I've been there for most likely 7 or 8 years by the time he come in that cell. And so most people in that specific area tend to say my cell, my space, you know, not the state cell. So that's one of the first things I'm going to explain to him. Listen, brother, when you come up in this cell, there's 2 people living in here, me and you, right? I understand you're 17 years old. It's probably your first time coming up in here. You've been to juvenile hall? No. All right. So this your first trip. Hop up on your bunk. I'm finna talk to you. I want you to listen to what I'm finna tell you. You got 2 things you can do in prison. You can lay down or you can stand up. If you lay down, there's consequences to that. But as long as you stand up for what's right all the time, even when it's against yourself, even if it's against yourself, if you stay right, don't borrow no money from nobody, don't accept nothing from nobody. If they're giving you knowledge, listen to everybody, right? But you hold the parts that you know is good, right? Because you're going to have to learn how to distinguish between bullshit and real shit up in here, because you're going to get it real quick. Watch where you walk on the yard. Pay attention, because I'm going to take him and walk with him. We're going to walk a couple of laps so I can show him where he can and where he can't go. These are the pros and cons of prison. You know, you have to understand that there's invisible lines, because you could cross a line and start a ride real easy if you don't know where that line is at. That's a pro and a con, you know. And so the end of my first conversation with him would be, wherever you from and whoever you run with, when you come in this cell, that shit is out. You come up in here and be what your name is, you know, because that's how I'm gonna treat you. I'm gonna call you by that name when you up in here. I'm gonna treat you like you should be treated, like a man. When you get to acting stupid, and if you raise your hands at me, I'm gonna beat your motherfucking ass in the corner of that cell. And if you go tell your homies, I'm gonna start whooping on them when they come up in here until they get me. But if you live in this cell, you're gonna be cool. And I promise you, you're gonna eat at every food sale that I go, because I spend money to get chicken during food sales, and you're gonna love living up in here. And I go work in the program office, so you can listen to my radio, watch my TV. My porn is down on the bottom locker. You can look at that. Just don't you wash your hands. You know how it goes.
Okay, we about to close. And I hope everybody, my partners, got a mouthful, heart full, ear full. I need you to do something. I'm 6 feet, right? Corey's about 6'2", 6'3". Latif, I guess he's a point guard or whatever.
Yeah,
Man,
yeah.
let us get an Aaron Showtime Taylor announcement to us coming in, and big 3, man.
All right, check this out. Ladies and gentlemen, starting this game off today, we got Kobe Bryant at point guard playing up against Latif Harmon. Over at shooting guard, we got Corey Sherrill up against James Harden. And, of course, the big man in the middle, Mr. Grayface, a.k.a. M. Swain, will be going up against Hakeem Olajuwon. 3-on-3 half-court ball. Ball inbound, ball goes in. Latif Harmon with the ball. He bounced back, turned his back to the back. Got his back to the basket. Kobe's only trying to reach for the ball. Oh, the don't-look pass by Latif Harmon. There's the back cut on the baseline of court rail. Oh, blocked by Hakeem Olajuwon. The big fella. Swain steps back with it. He takes the dream out. The dream steps out on him. Oh, the head shoulder fake. There's the pass between Hakeem's legs. Sherrill at the rim. Finger roll. Bucket.
With my boy D-Dog, man.
Oh, it was on
Tell him what you told me to do it all. Tell him what you told me to do it all.
That was on for it, man. Hey, this the best show here, man.
Man.
This the best show.
I'm not gonna lie. Me and Haroon used to be on the yard talking all the time. And Haroon used to be like, man, I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna commentate the Golden State Warriors game. I was like, man, stop lying. Come on, bro. For real. Golden State Warriors? I'm like, come on, man. So I'm sitting up in the cell. First, I'm watching TV. I'm like, man, what's on Kelly Clarkson? Let me see. Man, I said, man, that child's starting to get to me. I said, that's not her room on TV. And I look, then I see him, the Golden State Warriors game, and I see her room. I said, man, that's her room. I'm like, man, he talking about Showtime Taylor. I'm like, that's her room. I'm like, man, I told him when he got in here, I said, man, look, I ain't gonna never doubt you again. I said, you did just what you said you was gonna do when you was in here. In fact, you went beyond. I said, you represented us real good. That feels real good to see him doing as good as he do. And knowing what he done been through in here, yeah, he did exactly. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I started crying in the field, and I ain't no punk. I'm from East Oakland, California. I ain't no punk.